Welcome to Ctrl-Alt-Expletive, the show where we interview different people working in tech, talk about their expertise and experiences, and cover interesting news and recommendations. So if you work in tech and want a different perspective, this is the show for you. This week, we're talking about design with Adelaide Leeder from Bally's. Go to Ctrl-Alt-Expletive to find out more, sign up to our newsletter for exclusive content, and find the links for the stuff we talk about in the show notes. Thanks for listening. And we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We did one. We had a hiatus. Was this hiatus 2? Or?
Yep, this is hiatus 2. Yeah, we are definitely hiatusing well over the summer,
Yeah.
making the most of it. How you been?
Yeah, I've been all right. So I'm off on holiday on Friday. It's one of those, whenever you're off on holiday that week,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my God.
Where are you going?
Croatia.
Very nice.
But like everything's due there tomorrow, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It's gonna make
cool.
You appreciate the holiday even more, don't you? 'Cause you leave it all behind, and you're like,
Very much so.
I've deserved this.
Yeah.
So.
I've just come back from a truck festival.
Oh yeah.
And the first thing everybody I've told, apart from you, who's been to truck festival, says, "You're going to a truck festival." I'm like, no, not a truck festival. It's just called truck festival. They just happened to do the first ever one on a truck, and now the name's stuck.
Yeah,
But
it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was exactly what you expect from a festival these days. Yeah, good camping. But I also bought a massive battery, like a car-sized battery.
Yeah, I've been
that you take camping.
Stuff.
It was great. Yeah, I mean, you've got charge for days. But I bought a solar panel, so you can charge the battery.
Was it one of the like Anchor Solix?
Yeah, exactly
Solix,
that.
okay.
It's a big, hefty thing.
Yeah.
And Hillary was like, nah.
Why?
Yeah, first of all, why? Second of all, you're not going to need the solar panel. That thing will last ages.
Yeah.
But then you plug in the little car, like, cool box with a little fan in it.
Okay.
And that really sucks the life out of it. But yeah, it means you get cold beers all weekend, so that's not too bad.
Hey.
Yeah,
nice.
can't complain.
That's really good.
Yeah. Anyway, Michael, we've got Adelaide. So, who's Adelaide?
Who's Adelaide? I lived with Adelaide for 3 years at uni. It's kind of weird to think of her professional work, I guess, but she's an illustrator and graphic designer at Bally's. But obviously that's not where we met, but that's where, we all met.
It was just a coincidence that you ended up working at the same company.
I think I must have.
You must have said.
But yeah, I think I put it
come and work here. It's great.
Yeah, but so long ago, I've kind of lost track. But she's an illustrator. She's a designer. She's one of those creative people that does everything.
Nice.
She can sing. She can paint. She can play piano and everything. So yeah, and I think she's got quite a lot of side stuff going, including
us. Yeah,
including us.
She's the actual designer of our logo. Cool. Very exciting. So yeah, designer for at least 10 years. Yeah. Shall we get a hold of her and see how we go? Awesome. There we go. What have you got, Michael?
Got a Guinness. It needs no introduction. So.
Nope, I've got a hazy gin. Is that a little tiny glass of port, Adelaide?
It's actually just a tiny little glass of wine. Because then I feel like I'm drinking less, but I just pour more glasses
you have
of it.
16.
Very nice. I've actually recently joined a WhatsApp group called 1 Million Beers, Please, where they count up their beers, the aspiration of eventually reaching 1 million.
Between the group?
Yeah, between the group. You post a picture of your beer and just add on the highest number.
What's that up to?
I joined at like 5,500 in maybe March, and now they're on 13,500, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't know these people. These are just strangers.
I know one person in the group,
right.
and the rest of them are all strangers. But you kind of get to know them over seeing their drinking habits over some time.
Is there any chat, or is it just like a beer?
There's a small amount of beer-related chat. People, you have beer of the week, you have best pictures. But yeah, I've become an admin of the group for my excellent contributions. Chuff with that.
Yeah,
there's 7 admins. Yeah. But yeah, that's been good. Anyway, what have we been up to? Michael, what have you been up to?
I was like, okay, I'm going to learn a language. I can get back into Java, but, one of these things. Go is I was like, is Go or Python the biggest platform engineering language? It's Go. Okay. And then I was asking ChatGPT, how many hours would it take someone with a programming background to get proficient? And said about 80 to 100 hours.
100 hours.
80 to 100 hours.
That's not actually that bad. That's not actually that bad.
So I was like, I'm going to try, or don't
you can just ask ChatGPT to code things now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've seen a few people doing it and really worry, not with everyone, I'm not saying this is true of everyone. I'm not convinced that some people that are doing it know anything that's going on.
Oh, I would say the majority of people using it don't know what's going on.
But does that not, really worry that if you were sat next to a designer and, you've spent, presumably spent decades learning your craft, They just sit there and prompt something.
Yeah, it's kind
Does
of
it worry you, or you like, no, that's cool?
No, it's soul destroying.
Okay. But soul destroying because
I
it's
think-
good. Because we're going to get onto this, aren't we? So
I
down a
will,
rabbit hole.
we'll
So,
approach
but yeah, anyway, I've been
Get rid of
doing.
that.
Here's another one. Mindful
Mindful
Yeah.
coffee.
coffee.
What, you just when you're having a coffee, you just have a bit of a harder think.
I'm just laughing because I knew Mike at
Such-
19 years old.
Still.
Oh, we come to
So I got to a point of having it like over 10 a day. And I was like,
Over
What?
10 coffees
Oh.
a day.
Do you know what I thought you meant? Like that you just sit down with a coffee and have some
Have a
mindfulness.
I can't
Yeah.
think. It's like I was drinking, and every
10 a
time, every
day.
person I talked to, was like, oh my God, like, we still.
Oh, well, that's just 10.
And yeah, so I was like reading this post, and someone was like, talking about mindful drinking. I don't know if anyone knows about mindful drinking. And so, like, I'm just
Nope.
gonna. This is another funny thing. Like, we have a really fun work thing on a Friday called Mandatory Fun, and for half an hour we just chat, and there's like,
Oh, Your
Only rules
mandatory fun just
But if it's
just
like tongue-in-cheek.
complete oxymoron, isn't
it's
it?
tongue in cheek, and we talk
Right,
about
okay.
stuff. And I was explaining how like mindful drinking, where you like drink to enjoy it, instead of like getting like pissed. This person I was on the call with, she's Spanish, and she's like, "It's not mindful drinking. That's how every country in the world drinks, apart from the English.
Yeah.
just you guys try and drink until you're thrown up." So,
Excessive coffee.
but yeah, it's
Where did
similar.
I've worked with a lot of young people now because I don't know if you know, but we're actually old now. And
Surely
I
not.
feel like one of the oldest in the team, and they're all in their 30s and 20s and don't get any of my sort of cultural references or anything. But we had a summer party the other week, right? And one of my colleagues in his, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, he said, "Oh, I'm going to puke tonight." Like an ambush.
I never said I am gonna. It's gonna happen the way we say. It was always like, yeah, a lot of free beer at this. There's potential that I could, get
Yeah,
quite
so
drunk here.
always an
There's never like,
accident.
I'm gonna chunder. I'm gonna paint the town red. No,
Mindful.
I don't think so.
Mindful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the closest I've got to mine is counting all of my pints.
How many coffees are
Adelaide.
you down to now, Mike? Out of curiosity. 9.
9
Two shots
and
of
6
espresso.
red. No, today I had 2. I did have a
Oh.
monster. And
You had a month.
don't judge me.
Make your mind up. Are you 45 or are you 21?
So I said mindful coffee, I didn't say mindful touring. I'm obviously trying to like hack around it. He had 70s.
I only found out recently that there's a not insignificant amount of caffeine in Pepsi Max.
Okay. Yeah. Most of the
Like quite a lot. It's like basically just half a Red Bull.
Okay.
I get through a lot of Pepsi Max. Maybe this explains
Yeah,
something.
don't judge me.
I've been miscalculating my caffeine for years. Anyway, Adelaide, up to anything exciting this week?
This week, I'm going on holiday on Saturday. That's about as exciting as my life gets, just putting work down, actually.
It's not it's not Croatia, is it? Where are you going to?
No, just Somerset. We're doing a staycation. We are.
Just Somerset.
We
Oh,
are.
that sounds lovely. All right, shall we get to it?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So, who's Adelaide? So normally we have the person that knows the guest the least do the question asking. So that duty falls to me.
Yep.
So, first up, how did you meet Michael?
I met Michael at university. The first
Yep.
thing Michael said to me was,
Oh god, I don't know. Just
The
no.
first thing
This is
is like,
like
"Hi."
mutually assured destruction.
"Hi,
This is...
I'm Michael. Just so you know, I'm not gay."
I don't remember that.
I don't know why you have. I don't know why you don't introduce that yourself that way. To
I did. That's
everyone.
my
To this
LinkedIn
day.
headline.
Yeah, just by the way.
I don't know.
I'm not.
Can't think what the reason behind that was. But anyway,
You
Crap.
had curtains. You had curtains.
everyone had curtains.
And your mum
Never
brought
pulled
round
that
to see Mum get shopping at the weekend.
Yeah. Still, I'm not sure what.
You little spoiled mummy's boy.
Oh,
Oh, I did drop
No,
it.
should have done. Should have done.
You're in the washing while she drops off the shopping.
that did happen.
Yeah.
This is funny. We had this chat when remember when you started Bally's, and I was like,
Yeah.
look, we could destroy each other. So let's just
Yeah,
let's make a pact.
Yes,
This
it's
is
true.
cheap and professional.
No, okay.
Me
you
and
have
Adelaide
just
have
as
actually
much.
never met.
You have
Okay.
no. Mike is
So
one of
do
my
you know-
oldest friends. You are. My
20
Yeah, it
oldest
must be
friends.
like
God,
Late
25
40s by
years,
now?
26.
Yeah.
yeah. So do you know any of our previous guests?
I know Nikki.
Yeah. So you guys all live together.
We didn't live with Nikki. She was on our course.
Yeah.
She's gone on to do spectacular things.
Yeah, she got her
BAFTA.
BAFTA.
Yep. It looks pretty hefty. So you're an illustrator and designer.
Yes.
Which makes me think of like hand drawings, but obviously a lot of it's digital.
Yes.
Do you ever need to write code yourself,
No.
or it's all just using programs and graphical user interface?
No, I suppose it used to be in the old days that if you were a generalist, you were king. But now it's more you're a specialist. So I used to be on to code and building things and animating with code and everything, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside. I am sadly just all into art and design. I actually like it that way. I'm terrible at coding. I'm just not. I haven't got a maxy brain. I've got an arty brain.
Yeah.
So here's a weird link, actually, Adelaide, and I think I told you this. When Mark was first trying to get people together for the podcast, like, I know a guy, Ben Clinch. And I was like, I know that name. Why do I know Ben
Yeah.
Clinch? And I looked him up, and I was like, oh my God,
Come feature
this is
what?
the guy we made a interactive CD for?
We made him a website, I think, for his band.
What was that? Was that like a uni thing or a...
It was our final project. So we submitted our dissertation and then final project. I always thought it was so weird that at uni, you were coding, I was designing, and then we sort of ended up in the same company doing the same thing
Yeah.
for ages.
Right.
But no, that's what we did. I was so proud of that project, and it didn't score very well. I didn't get very good marks.
Oh, that is really cool.
Maybe
Is it?
do you know why? I ended up helping a lot of the people on their projects instead of working on my own. I think to remember you could get pissed off, but it was
We didn't
good.
get good grades, and that was all right.
So how did you start out professionally? What was your first job at university?
What did I do? I think I buggered off to drama school and decided I was going to act for a while, and then decided, no, I don't want to do that actually, and went and worked in, a hideous place. I went to
Really
work in
get
a
it
really
right.
terrible place in East London where I had a boss who used to throw the furniture and the computers and the TVs, throw them at the staff. And so then I ended up working, sort of doing a backwards commute, working on the coast, but living in London. So eventually ran out of money and phoned Michael and said, that company you work at, please, are there any vacancies? And yes,
In what-
inspired.
Yeah, how many years ago?
Yeah.
2010, around then.
Okay. And you're still there?
I went away and had children, and then I actually came back just freelancing. They said, we just need someone. We know you can freelance for 3 months. That never ever leave. So no, I'm still there. I'm
As
still
a
there,
freelancer.
even as a permanent member as well. But since you've gone, Mike, there's no one there from when I first joined. 4 years ago. Fast turnaround.
Yeah. Changes a lot. So what are you working on at the minute? Anything interesting?
At
Fun
work
stuff?
or at play?
At work.
What am I doing? Going back to making games. I do prefer that side of it.
Has that got
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about all of the large-scale graphic design stuff, website stuff. All I had in my head was games. Must all be games. But I guess it's not.
Scaled back, and the games went. So the company split, and all the games went to sort of one side of the company, and then we were sort of left with the less fun side. But yeah, making a few games. That's always the fun side. That's nice.
Favorite game you've ever designed?
Favorite game. Designed an Alice in Wonderland game once, and that was good fun. Anything that just where you get to draw a lot.
My kitchen, when I moved into it, the tiles were all Alice in Wonderland. Said, that's gotta go.
Are they in a good way or in a...
Well, the house was also painted like pink.
These
very,
are like the
very
houses
light
you
pink.
see on Rightmove that go viral.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy. No, it went. I painted everything white and just got some tiles. But yeah.
Were they
that
the
wasn't-
Disney ones or the original Lewis Carroll?
They were more original. They weren't like they were like actual drawings. So, do you still create designs and illustrations as a creative, or does that feel like work now?
No, I definitely do. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't. I think you're very lucky in your job if you are drawing something that you genuinely have a lot of heart in. I think to do a good design, you have to find the enjoyment in whatever you're doing. If even if it's something that at first glance seems boring, you have something in it which excites you, else you won't, you've got to get through the day.
It'll just come out boring.
Exactly. You get the best work if you find the excitement in it.
Yeah.
We asked this for Nikki, didn't we? Is there anyone you wouldn't work? Was there anything you wouldn't do?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, of course. Of course I would. Oh, she says, working for a gambling company.
Can we have a weapon illustration?
I had an ex-boyfriend who illustrated porn, and I always found it. I just was like, because it's quite hardcore.
Things that people would buy, or just to.
It was kind of manga style stuff.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, it was to sell.
The weird,
and I was
exaggerated, oversized everything.
Yeah, and it was just a bit beyond me. I can't get behind that. And then, to be honest, sometimes you get clients in so highly strong and demanding that you think, I'm just not sure. I just want to go on this kind of 3-month with this character. So, yeah, I do sort of suddenly become very busy.
What are you most proud of, Leeder?
That's a good question. Out of actually making a little bit of a move now into props making for film. And I'm really, really proud of those things. Because actually, there's always a little bit of an element of cheap with digital. But if you can hold something that you've made, there's no getting around that.
Or is it still under wraps?
No, I'm just it's what I'm really, really interested in is making things that are real. And there's no cheap. There's no way either. It's right there in front of you. And that's what I kind of like about it. I like that if you've gone back to pencil and paper, it's really proof that you can do it. And sometimes I keep challenging myself because, as we know now, it just cut corners and use AI as a tool to get stuff done. So it's nice. It's the most sense of reward. Weirdly, the projects I've drawn for my kids and that kind of thing, the things probably no one will see. Those are the things because they've got the most.
You write the stories too.
Yeah, I write the stories for my kids, and then you can get to fit everything in your own style, can't you? You're not doing it for a client. You're doing the style you love, and you end up just with something that that they'll only see, their kids will see, and that's the nicest.
Makes me feel like a really uncreative person. Who would never? I'm not sure I would ever do that. Yeah, but it sounds great. Like it sounds like a excellent childhood memory. All right, shall we get on to some quickfire questions, Michael?
Okay. Spend a day doing 2D designs?
2D.
When you're starting out with, say, a character design, do you prefer pen and paper or a digital notepad?
I'm trying to get back to pen and paper. I'd probably end up using the iPad.
Are you a pencil nerd? Do you know all about pencils?
Oh, I collect them. I've got boxes of pencils.
Yeah. Would you rather design a single important logo or a whole series of illustrations on it?
Oh, a whole series of illustrations. Logos are sort of bread and butter stuff, but illustrations are the fun bit.
Yeah, presumably because there's more.
It's just more fun to do. I guess it's kind of like, would you rather bake a loaf of bread or spend ages decorating a cake? You just get more reward out of spending more time doing the fun stuff.
Cool. What's the difference between After Effects and Flash? Because I don't know.
Flash died, didn't it?
Did After Effects die?
That is the old Flash. There's not like a new Flash thing that's still a program that people
Adobe Animated, they replaced it. But I haven't actually had an opportunity to use it since going into illustration. I used to love Flash. I used to love frame-by-frame animation.
You love Flash as well. I'm just saying, she was
it.
like, oh, I'm really liking all the, there's no
vanished
thing.
from the internet.
It was also just like a very basic flipbook animation. You just had to know how things moved and you drew it. Whereas I suppose you could do frame by frame with After Effects, but it's now all tweens and
Yeah.
Bizarrely, my best mate was over from China with his wife, and she was like, "Oh, I've got to study."
I was your best mate.
I've got to study. You were a bit changed. But she said, I've got to study tonight. I've got an exam tomorrow in Flash. Oh,
what?
this must be like some different thing also called Flash. And I was like, what the? And she's like, yeah, that's like,
what, like the bathroom cleaner? What?
2025, someone out there is doing exams in Flash. I didn't even realise you could install it on, like, what is it installed on? Like, which browsers are, you can't.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was completely obsolete. How is that
very
possible?
confused. Very confused. What's the biggest misconception your freelance clients usually have when they approach you for work?
Oh my, where do you start? I get a lot of, I've got a quick 5-minute change for you. Can you just pop that over? And it won't be a 5-day change. And I love the way they just always decide how long it's going to take you. I mean, before AI, some of these sounded a lot more ridiculous than they do now. But I had people send me sort of digital photos of like the back of a baby's head and go, this is my niece. Can you just turn the baby's head round so it's facing the camera? And I'd be like, no. And they said, but it's a digital photo. I'd be like, I know. Okay. But you can't do that. You'd be going, why not? Or, I don't know, things like, can you just change the green by 1? And you go, okay, 1, no, darker, more cyan, more yellow, just by 1. You're a designer, you know what to do. Quite often you end up sending back the same green and they go, that's better, that's so much better.
Is Clients from Hell still going? Because I tried to look up there.
I don't know, but I
I'm sure there's a Reddit. There's probably some.
I had a client once on Christmas morning asking for changes.
And you answered?
I did, actually, because if someone calls in Christmas morning, you just think, oh my God, someone's in A&E.
Just to say Happy Christmas?
Yeah.
No? Okay. How were Michael and I as clients compared to the average client?
Oh, the best. I actually did a presentation at work and I quoted you guys as some of the best clients ever because I did.
Why?
I did you this massive mood board, which is always like the best way to start a project if you're not sure what direction to go in. You just...
Oh, yeah, I get really weird feedback.
You just get kind of like 100 images and you say, right, these are all these images I think might work. Tell me what you think about them. And Mark basically hated everything. Really, like most people just go, oh yeah, I like the kind of like the ones on the left or the ones I quite like these pink ones. You wrote next to every single one and the disdain that was coming through was made me laugh so much because you wrote next to one of them, hate this, hate it. I feel like I'm in a clown's house. Yeah. And I was like, do you know what this is? But that's why we got to where we got to so quickly, because I think you liked like 2% of what I sent. And I'm like, this is perfect. Because you know exactly what your client wants, you know exactly what they hate, which is actually as valuable as what they like. And because you were so specific, I think it was like round 2. Like, yep, that's what we want. It's great.
Pretty much
The worst thing is when clients sort of select, I don't know, like a picture from Disney 1930s and then some CGI thing from, I don't know, Tron.
Like things that are far apart.
Then you go... and they say, we just like these 5 things. Can you just sort of mix like Latin American in with ancient Egypt? And you go, all right, I'm not... No. I think the hatred towards my mood board was much appreciated.
What percentage of the work you've done do you not show because you're so... And you're like, I'll do it. You know when someone's got really warped view of what they think looks good? And I think you were like, I'm going to do this, but I'm never going to own up to it in any way.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So like, how much stuff have you done, do you think, where you're like, I won't show that?
I would say probably 30% of everything I do makes it through. And only a tiny bit of that to the portfolio. Because you're right, the problem with design is every client thinks they're a designer. And I kind of envy people who are in sort of jobs like architecture or coding, where people just go, oh, you're the expert, I'll leave you to it. Everyone feels they've got an eye. Actually, a lot of people don't. A lot of people in the industry don't have an eye.
At least I'm quite warm in admitting that this design is shit. Like, I'm doing a website at the minute for myself. I've already come into the preconception that doesn't matter how hard you work in the ideas market, it's going to look a bit... You should just do it so that it's functional and then ask somebody else to design it better at the end. When it does all of the stuff you want it to do.
Well, no, that's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
I've done it so many times, I'm like, it's the same when I'd go to make like slides in a presentation in a slideshow. I think to myself, just, do the slides good, like Google do in their presentations. Don't put all of the words on it. Bear that in mind when you make the slides. And then I make the slides and I'm like, Yeah, I put too many words on it again, didn't I? Yep. I'm like, but I need all these words. Oh, well, it doesn't matter that much. And that's kind of like, with the best of intentions, it's just not going to look nice. But I can count the number of software engineers on one hand that would make a bit of user interface that would come out looking nice the first time. And I'm like, yeah, that guy. We get that guy because he actually does nice things. But I make it ugly.
What I was trying to explain to my competitive daughters is that you can't, if you're strong in one area, you kind of got to be weak in another area. That's what makes you strong in that area. You can't be an all-rounder. You're good at the maths and the coding side because that's the way you're brained.
Probably, yeah. Ooh, number 7, which we'll bleed into a lot later. But obviously, AI image generation has come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. Does that make you nervous in terms of employment, that companies and clients might just accept those in place of humans to do that kind of work?
I think I have a real love-hate relationship with AI. I do use it in a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to look at it as an old person, not to reject new technology. And it's the closer you get towards your 50s. I don't want to be one of those people, but there's certain aspects of it that are scary. I think if you use it correct, it's a brilliant tool. For example, as a designer, if you had to show a client what something might look like, like a style of photography you were going to use or a style of illustration you were going to use, you had to trawl through stock photography for days. And now it's almost like going to that kind of stock photography website and going, okay, just take me to the photo where, the girl with red hair is sitting in the sunshine holding a green bottle. And it can be that specific. And you can sort of use it as a launch pad. This is the kind of thing it's going to look like. The danger is just that people run with it too far and then claim that as their own, which would be just as bad as claiming stock photography as your own. But that always happened. And there were plenty of people out there who stole other people's designs and claimed it as their own, or did the bare minimum as their own. And I think it's probably just a bit more of the same. We've just got to have integrity. And I think as long as you have that integrity to use it as an inspiration, but not use it for the output, or at least, you can use it for the output. You can do amazing things with AI. You can put in a sketch and convert it into another style, but who's done the majority of the work. So I think as long as we use it that way, people have been freaking out about advancements in technologies forever. Like I heard this other podcast the other day that Socrates really didn't think the written word was a good idea. He thought that we would all
waste of time.
He thought that we would all not be able to remember anything because we just depend on reading and writing, and that we wouldn't be able to come up with any ideas of our own because we'd just be reading it all. And it was, writing was for Socrates. And I was like, okay, so
Look how deep our podcast just got.
Yeah.
Socrates could never have imagined Instagram Reels.
I'm going to try and embrace it for what it is, but use it correctly.
Yeah.
There are going to be people out there who go, we're not going to employ a designer. We're just going to do it ourselves on AI. But what's amazing is already, and I know even if you're not using AI every day, I bet you can look on Google now and just go, well, that's AI, and that's AI, and that's AI. And did you see the South Park episode?
The Trump one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
wow, that was. I don't think I'm easily offended. Like not offended, but like that was
shocking, wasn't it?
Way of it, like.
I don't know whether they will. I'm expecting one of them to.
No, I feel like I'm definitely missing out. The only thing I watched was the first half of the Ozempic one, where Cartman tries to get thin, and everyone's after more and more different strains of Ozempic.
Is there any particular bit you're talking about, Adelaide? Is it the bit when Trump's walking through the desert?
That's the thing, because he's walking through the desert, and obviously my husband and I are looking at each other going, is that AI or is that a lookalike?
I couldn't work out either. Which one was it?
We don't know, but we're all asking it. But we're not just taking for granted that things are real. All the time, everyone is questioning whether things are real, and I think as long as we keep questioning that, and I'll keep telling my children, no, you don't have to look like that because that's not a real person, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And we can keep some perspective on it.
Last one.
What's your dream job if you could work on anything? Something you'd like to have worked on, like Wallace and Gromit, Rick and Morty, illustrating Harry Potter books?
Oh, gosh, I just want to make props for films. That's my dream career.
Okay, what film?
Oh, anything Wes Anderson.
Anything Wes Anderson.
I did. I'm a bit biased. I just did a course with his graphic design.
Anything Wes Anderson.
I did. I'm a bit biased. I just did a course with his graphic design, Danny Atkinson. So I was a bit starstruck. So it's like me, when they say if you could meet anyone, it would have probably been her.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right, should we get to break and prod? So, as a person that, doesn't write software or manage programs, I'm guessing you've never crashed a server to disastrous effect.
No.
But I wonder if you've ever designed something and the client or project manager thought that it was just completely off target, or if you've ever had a freelance engagement that just went completely south.
Yes.
Or alternatively, the absolute client from hell who told you your worst ever client.
Oh, I have a great client from hell. I hope she never knows.
I was thinking this earlier, and I was like, how much stuff do you... Oh, Adelaide's on the podcast. I had a great relationship with her. Oh, my God.
I've had disasters where, something's gone to print, and they've printed like 10,000 of them, and then you notice there's a typo. But I think you speak to anyone who's really big in the industry, and everyone has had one of those. Like Annie Atkins in Grand Budapest Hotel, all those famous Mendel's patisserie boxes, she put 2 T's on the boxes, and the whole film got shot with those, and they had to go back in post and correct all the spelling on something like 3,000 of these boxes. So I'm like, okay, it happens to everyone. And I try and tell myself that. But I had this one client, I met her. She was a parent in a baby group that both our children attended. And we started this job. Our children were, gosh, she's probably going to listen to this and sue me. Our children were babies when we started this job. And when our children were 5 and I was moving out of London, the job was still going and I still had not been paid. And amendments were happening. It was essentially to make a game for children. And amendments were happening ad infinitum. This person owed me several £1,000s. And I said, look, come on, I know that we're friends and everything, but would it be okay, instead of if you paid me sort of at the end of the project, which might be in 12 years' time, could I just take a little bit per month based on what I've done per month? I said, now I know we've got an agreed flat rate, so I'm not going to go over that. All I'm going to do is just ask that it be split into months, so that instead of you paying me, I don't know, £1,000 after 10 months, you just pay me £100 each month. Is that okay? Because I've sort of put down all my other clients' view and I'm not really bringing in any money. She said, don't you try and finance your house move by getting money out of me. I know how this works. I don't pay my builders until they finish the job. So no, I'm not going to pay you until you finish the job.
But that's not true.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have got all the way to the end of this project.
I did. So I basically said, well, look, Ben, you're not going to pay me, and I'm not convinced that you will, because it's been 5 years, I'm not going to do it anymore. Sorry, I'm going to move out of London and I'm not going to carry on. To which she said, right, well, then I'm going to have to start again with another illustrator who's not going to be able to imitate your style. So I need you to pay me several £1,000s in the time that I've wasted with you. I went, that's not how it works. She said, it is. I've got a solicitor and I'm going to take you to court and get it out of you for wasting my time. So I had a friend who is a solicitor. But can she do this? No, she can't do this. But she was so angry and so scary that I just did the rest of the job as fast as I possibly could. But I did the very passive-aggressive, please find attached. I just couldn't, no niceties, nothing. Just, it's, get it out of my,
did she use it in the end?
She did very well, but
You don't keep in touch?
No. No. But it was a fairly nightmare project. The problem is when you have flat rates, as anyone knows, people think they can make changes for as long as they want to because it doesn't cost them anything. Which means people can change the brief and you end up with a sort of completely different project than you started with. I guess it's the same with coding, right? If you're making someone a website, people see it and then change their minds, and it must happen all over the place.
Does that wear you off doing flat rate work?
Got it. It should do, shouldn't it? Do you know what I really, really do value? And you've got to, those things are a rarity, and it's really nice to work for friends and just have a nice working relationship. So quite often I'm terrible. I should take 50% up front. I don't. I just want people to have a nice experience and it to be a nice working relationship and to then come back afterwards.
Is there any trepidation there? Because working with friends can go really badly as well. Like sometimes I kind of think, oh, I don't know about like hanging out with my mate, but
we're doing real work.
Yeah, but imagine it was the three of us and we're doing the logo, and you're like, yeah, I kind of want my money now, and we were like, we started playing Hob. Could like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like there's like, yeah, no, I just need a few changes, and 5 years later, you're like, oh my god, I used to get on with mine.
They change their logo every week. I keep doing it on views.
Because it sounds like you'd like to work with mates, but I kind of, I don't know.
You and you don't. It's a, you know, you get, especially with mates. I was painting portraits for people we have like a friend who'd be like, oh, can you paint a portrait of, you know, a member of family or something? They'll do this whole portrait. And then at the end,
they sit for several hours and you literally paint
them. Not from life, but usually I'm given a photograph or something like that.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they'll go, oh, yeah, I'm not sure I gave you the right photograph. And you go, oh, okay. That means I need to start again then. And they go, yeah, but no, so I can't pay you anymore. And that's the difficulty, because then when they're a friend and you know their personal life, you know they're hard up, you know they're struggling, just can't be that person that goes, well, no, you have to pay me double. You just end up going, okay, yeah, I'll do it for free. Yes, sure.
But a bit faster this time. All right, I got two big topics, freelance design and the changing times of AI. So, yeah, I thought freelance design would be good. You start off, how did you get your first client? How did it come about? How did you get your first bit of work that wasn't full-time employment, but somebody says to you, can you do a thing for me?
Blimey. Necessity, I suppose. I think I really started freelancing when my kids came along, when it was only like 11 years ago, but it felt like a really different world then in terms of having kids. No company was sort of willing to give you time off if your kids were sick or anything, or allow you to change your hours to pick up from nursery. And so when I got pregnant, I just had to quit my job. I didn't feel like I had an option. And then you think, how am I going to bring in money? I think my first job is just people you know, isn't it? I've actually only ever worked by word of mouth, and it's always been enough. I was managing to fill all my freelance days with work, meeting people outside of the school. Oh, I'm a designer, that kind of thing. And I think my first job was actually for my sister's company. And it was, amusingly, the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. So I had to draw a lot of female anatomy. And it was the kind of work, I was working from my parents' house because they were looking after the kids. And it's the kind of work where I had to cover the screen when my dad walked in.
Are you drawing fannies? Is this,
is this
the influence of your boyfriend?
I drew a lot of fanny. And it wasn't nice because it's all sort of how to operate, you know.
It's not like your artistic interpretation. It's like real to life. Draw the best possible, most, but yet not.
Yeah.
Just draw. Draw what it looks like.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I don't, believe it or not, have much experience of what they do.
No.
I remember there was one day when she was saying, it's not quite realistic enough. Going on Google, having taken all the filters off and going, please let my dad not come.
So is this in a book somewhere then? Is this like, have you got published work? Or?
I've got a very lovely friend who's a midwife who refers to these illustrations sometimes. It's essentially helping midwives and surgeons, you know, on how to deliver babies, or some of it's horrible. But it was a noble thing to do. I think I ended up giving them something like 500 illustrations I did for them in the end, an awful lot. Those are the kind of things that don't make the portfolio.
Did you manage to find something that you love in those drawings? So what does the typical process look like from like first contact? So you say, oh, I'm a designer, and they say, oh, I need a thing.
Yeah.
What does it look like from that point to final payment? What's a typical exploration and whittling it down and getting it to a final, here's the work that you wanted for some money?
Well, fellow designers, always take 50% money and don't do what I do. I think it's a good idea. There are so many projects that I've started, and then clients just get distracted and they go on to other things, especially sort of busy people who are working their own businesses. They don't need it there and then. They will, I've got designs that are half done that I've never been paid for because job never finished. You send something off for feedback and they never replied. And that's it. You've spent hours on it, but you'll never see it. So take 50% up front, I would say, and prove that you're worth it by showing your portfolio. I think the first thing to do is research, and you mood board. You send people a lot of images, because the main thing you want to find out is what makes your client tick. and what excites them visually about sort of, design. And that's really, really hard to just find out through just words. So you have to send them a lot of images and see what kind of thing they love. You're obviously going to find that enjoyment automatically. You're going to draw the things that set your heart on fire. I would say your client's heart on fire.
Do you remember how long you mood boarded for us? Or?
Couple of days. I don't tend to bill for that because it takes me ages. A couple of days finding all the images so that then you save so much time afterwards because you then really know what they want. After that, I suppose it's, depends on the client. Some people, if you're designing for another designer, they can usually see what you mean by a pencil sketch. But most people need something more polished than a pencil sketch to kind of see what you're talking about. I've had so many clients going, I love the logo, but can it not be in pencil? And I'm like, yeah, it won't be in pencil, So I've learned now to try and get it to a fairly polished state so that people can interpret it. It's just a bit easier for people to see the vision.
Do you talk to a lot of other freelancers? Do you know how they work and how you compare, or do other people charge for mood boarding?
I know the rate per hour varies hugely. I know I'm on the lower end of the scale, but I just can't. I just cannot. I think
you're too nice to be a freelancer. That's the problem.
Yeah. I've got friends who you also know, Mike, who charge £80 an hour. And even I don't think I'm that good. Do you know what I mean? I just would feel so incredibly cheeky asking that of anyone. I can't.
Do you remember many, many decades ago, Dark Pixels?
Yeah.
Dark Pixels was this idea that me, Adelaide, and her husband would work together, and Harry would be the kind of business front.
I don't know why we tried to involve him. He's got not a creative bone. It's funny.
I'd kind of assumed that he would be the person playing hardball, going, "No, you're going to pay for your mood boards." Whereas if they went straight to Adelaide, he'd be like, "No, it's fine. It's like, yeah, love to help out, but in the meantime, you're doing hours of unpaid pro bono work."
I've actually got a friend who is a female freelancer, and she doesn't have anyone sort of hassling people, but she has another email address, which is a bloke's name. And every time she needs to ask some money, she emails from the other email address and pretends to be somebody else. But weirdly, her theory is that people respond more to men than women. And I hope that's not true.
Yeah, I hope it's not true, but I imagine it's true.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, she says if she emails as the bloke, she gets paid.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really thoroughly enjoyed the whole, here's roughly what we want. I think Michael and I sent 5 each of podcast artwork that we and said, this is kind of roughly what we're going. You also had this real knack of replying at the perfect time, because I am naturally really, really impatient, desperately impatient. And it just so happened that every time I messaged Michael, I wonder when Adelaide will get back to us. You had just messaged at that exact moment. And
thank goodness
that's
for
freaky. It happened 3 times in a row.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I really liked the mood board thing. There was so many different things. It's try out all of these styles and see what you like. Yeah, you're right. Loads of them were I was I hate this. Don't like it one bit.
This gives me a headache or something, or it makes me feel sick.
Yeah. But I loved it because you get a lot of direct clients where there was something in the way you were wording everything that was funny. I found myself laughing at it all.
So it reminded me of the Anchorman one where that person's like, do you remember the person sprays the aftershave and that lady's smells like a nappy, like a burn? Do you remember the bit it smells like Bigfoot's dick? Yeah. It's like that.
But
I was like that.
Yeah.
I think it worked well because by the second round we were yeah, there's 6, and then they were all those are great.
Yeah.
Don't dislike any of those.
If someone had said to me what would you think of that kind of brown palette retro logo thing, I would have been no, that's not.
Yeah.
By the end, I was
imagine,
fucking love it.
Imagine if I had just pitched it. I'm thinking brown.
Thinking retro. I'm thinking I'd be
get out of time.
But that's because I don't have a visual brain. So.
But it's worked really well because there was some of those ideas were great, and now we basically use them as the basis for the cover art. Basically, if I've got a meeting that's dull and doesn't require my input, I'll be maybe I'll just draw. Maybe I'll just draw some squares while I'm listening to this person chat shit. Do you get a lot of repeat work with clients coming back for more?
Yes, actually, most of my clients are all repeat clients, which is a good sign, I guess.
Yeah. How do you work out what to charge?
Usually I end up being told off by a fellow designer going, have you not changed your rates in 15 years? And I go, no. And they say, well, it should be this. For the people who are regular clients, I slightly undercut it because I feel like, I don't know, I owe them something in return. I usually say, okay, it should be this, but for you, darling.
Do you ever think to yourself, I could really benefit from someone being the bad cop?
I'd love to be the bad cop. That'd be great.
I'd be like, Adelaide, I said you do it for free. You'd be like, what am I going?
I have more faith in Mark in this situation.
Yeah, no. Get Mark.
Mark.
When we did the feedback on the mood boards, I think one of the things that struck me was I had really similar thoughts to Mark on stuff, but I have the filter where I'm like, I'm not sure about it. And Mark's like, it looks like a clown.
And Mark's like, dog shit, hate
Yeah,
it.
it's fucking like, it's so shit.
I'm going to have
up.
to go and find that feedback now.
Give up as a designer. It's just fucking terrible.
No, it wasn't like that at all. It was like, this is not to my taste. So you're working out what to charge. You arrive at a number. Is there ever like a way out of like what the client expects? When you did ours, for example, you didn't really say at the start it'll cost.
Did I not? I should have done.
I don't think so. Michael and I sort of talked about it. He said, how much are you going to spend? And I had a figure in my head. I was like, anything over that would be a bit much for the thing we're trying to create. But yeah, it was fine. I was like, yeah, that's great.
I've switched to a day rate. I was on an hourly rate and someone said, no, that's something you do in your 20s. You're now on a day rate. And I went, oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you do get a lot of bitty work.
People don't understand hours. They'll be like, this will take you no time. But they understand days.
People understand days. And I love my client. But you do have the odd scatty client who says, I'll need you on Monday. And then it comes to 2:00 on Monday and you still haven't heard from them. And you've put aside the whole day and you pick up the kids from school in an hour. So you do have to start thinking about day rates because otherwise, what are you going to do? Build them into half an hour.
If you're doing designy stuff for games or something interactive at the back, is that just design, illustrations? It's not illustration. Illustration's static. What do you call it?
I suppose you call it graphic design. I mean, illustration, it's a very blurred line in between the two. Because we have a set of graphic designers at work and I am actually the only illustrator. And it tends to be where it just sort of merges into what looks like more of a picture than a shape.
Tell you why the question. You must design and some techies have to make it do things.
Yes.
Do you sometimes give it to them? They go, no way, like, I can't do this. Like, how do you know what's possible when you design?
Work it out.
I think it's probably the latter, is it? Just shoot for the... scale back then if you have to, but always go for the best. I got this rule one that I never say no, and I just nod really confidently, and then behind the scenes I go, have to try and work out how to actually do it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, actually, that's worked for years. And you think,
so it's the other way around, so the tech people are coming to you.
Well, we do work with, we do outsource, and you do send to tech people, and then there's all people say, well, we can do it. It's going to take 3 months to do it. So you then end up scaling back.
And the project manager's like, not a chance.
It's always a to and fro, isn't it, I guess? You just, it's an open all the time. And you just make sure the communication's there. And you also just have to be really empathetic. I think, it's, if you just go in my way or the highway, you're never going to get anywhere. So you just have to be compromised.
Is it mostly illustrations or logos, or is it? Do you prefer that to something where there's some back-end element to it? Like something's got to work. If you give someone a logo, it's one thing. But if you're expected to be part of something where things move around...
Oh, someone's got to animate it or make it interactive or...
Yeah, presumably that changes the game quite a lot. You can't just, if you're doing a website, someone's like, well, I've tried to integrate that, but I can't.
I have got that awful thing where I feel like, just let me do it. I can do it better. Do you know what I mean? Like I have sometimes just trust issues of handing stuff over. And it does often happen if you hand things over to people who are coders and they're not creatively minded. They can take your beautiful illustration and animate it in a way which just looks ridiculous. So I love the autonomy of having full control of a project because then you know exactly what it's going to look like at the end and it's all yours and everything. But having said that, there is something so wonderful with when it works with a team and you're a little cog and you pass your design along the little conveyor and you see it develop and all of a sudden it's something completely different. I guess it just depends who you're working with, really.
Do you get a lot of website work?
I tend not to pipe up these days when people say, who designs website? I just tend to look around, go, Yes, who near me designs assets?
Because you know it'd be a massive time sink.
Oh, yeah, I think it is. It's like designing forms or something. A real chore. But I think also now there's just so many platforms where you can do it yourself that there's almost sort of no excuse. People could jump on Squarespace and drag in their stuff. It's so doable. That's what I'd be doing anyway. I'm not good enough at HTML and CSS to be doing it from scratch. I'd be jumping on a Squarespace or Weebly or something and doing it that way.
On a bit of an offshoot, do you still do this work if people are kind of want it?
Are you asking?
Yes, quite. Yes, fine. I'm asking. I've got a very boring web portal that needs a bit of design, and if it ever functionally does what it's supposed to do,
No, yes, for you, Mark, I would, of course, because you're a wonderful client.
lifesaver.
You know which of your friends are the most pedantic ones, and which of your friends will. So,
Last one in this mini segment. I feel like I've walked past the design games desks at Games just many times. They're drawing on the big. I think that's it behind you, if I'm not mistaken.
that was
It's a big screen. with a
yes, I do
10,
have one behind me.
But it's not a screen. You're looking at the computer screen while you're drawing on the thing.
It's a Cintiq by Wacom, and it's a drawing tablet, but the screen is you get versions
It's
of
like
them
huge,
where they're
right?
sort of like a giant trackpad, and you still look at your
Yeah.
monitor, but it's got a monitor within it, so draw directly on it.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I do. I do love it. But lately, as I've said, I'm falling in love with analog again. So a collection of paper and pencils is fast becoming the most exciting bit. It's mad.
Yeah, favorite milligram paper to go with your pen.
Oh, favorite milligram. Oh, it's got to be a heavy paper, something like
a 200.
210.
210.
210 GSM.
Great.
Nice.
Big.
That's a trade. So the other thing I've got is the changing times of AI. So how do you think AI has impacted your industry? Have you noticed in the tools that you're using, are there like new AI features being added to the tools that you use most often?
Yes.
Are they like quite prominent? So what kind of stuff?
Every time you go into Photoshop and Illustrator now, there is something now that AI can do. And I just heard the other day, what's it called? Harmonize. So you can now drop, say, a picture of a dog onto a sofa, and it's a photo of a dog from, I don't know, the middle of the day, and the picture of the sofa is, I don't know, an inside tungsten lit sofa. And you drop the dog onto the sofa and you click harmonize, and it relights the dog in the lighting that the sofa has to look like the dog as part of the image.
So that would previously have taken you like hours.
It would, particularly with, do you know what I find the saddest is the AI that Google are putting in and Apple are putting in their photography software on phones.
Yeah.
And I know, just sort of like, I know everyone freaks out at these new technology. People freaked out about photography once upon a time. Now you can change. Now you can go through sort of 20 of your photographs and change everyone's faces so that everyone looks their best.
Yeah, I find that
And
really
the thing
weird.
I find about that is like, that's not a
Because that
moment in
moment
time. It didn't
didn't happen.
exist. It didn't happen. And I know it's a weird fixation to say, no, must capture this millisecond that we all had together. But it's odd that we are.
That millisecond is actually real.
I saw this. They pushed this in the cinemas. There was a thing they did in the cinemas. I haven't seen it for a while, but whenever you go to the film, they would have a advert beforehand about Google stuff.
Yeah.
And it would be all these scenarios that they'd essentially faked because, it'd be like a couple taking a photo, but someone's in the background.
Yeah.
And they removed them. And then there was one where I remember there's a one where all the football players are in a team shot, but some of them are like blinking and they replace them.
At the right time.
There's one where a guy's dunking a basketball and they make him higher. Have you seen this advert? They make him higher to make it look more impressive. And I was like, every single thing I've just seen, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate this advert. This is like, you can fake everything.
There's a certain part of all of us that just really loves mistakes and errors, and the stranger in the background of your photo who's photobombing it. It's hilarious. All those things make photographs magical. Someone's hair blowing in their eyes.
Someone's stealing our cereal at a house party. Which was an actual photo we got developed. And, like, someone's in the background and they were opening a cupboard and stealing the cereal.
What, from my uni house?
Yes.
Really?
I'll send it to you, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the one about, you have a couple taking a picture in front of a beach front and there's some dude off to the side being weird or whatever. Like, you can kind of see why they might be like, okay, we'll get rid of that. The one that I find the most egregious is the simplest one of you take a picture of 5 people or 10 people all at once, and they're not all looking at the right time. And then you take another one, and they're not all looking at the right time, and you just superimpose them together.
Sandwich it together.
It's not real. It didn't happen like that.
Because the whole purpose of photographs is for the memory. You're not putting it in a magazine.
Yeah. What happens when you look back on that photo in like 20 years from time? Do you think you can remember? You can go, oh, look, everyone's like really like...
Perfect.
Yeah.
Happy and amazing.
Yeah.
No, that guy was pulling a face at that time because he's a dick. So, coming back to your kind of AI features. Are these features that are like supposed to make designers and illustrators more efficient? Or do you think like they're working towards the aim of just getting rid of the need for designers and illustrators? Like, you don't need to know how to use this thing at all. Just click a couple of AI buttons and you're done. You don't need to have any skills to do this.
I think even when I started uni, Photoshop was not for the common man. You know, I mean, it's still a really horrendously expensive piece of software, but anyone has access to it now. And it's the kind of thing my dad uses, or, my mum might use every now and again to just send something out to family. And it's weird because it's not a specialist bit of equipment anymore. It is incredibly useful. And there are designers who I work with who are so excited about all these developments. And it does certainly shave a huge amount of time off your work if you're just trying to get from A to B. It is a skill, photo brushing and all those things, which is sort of, not needed so much anymore.
So, everyone's got access now to GPT type tools, right?
Mm.
Do you find that when you interact with clients, because they know what they can do, that they have expectations from you like, oh, I can prompt the logo in 10 minutes? Do they come to you and they now expect you to be much faster because they can prompt something? Or
do you know, weirdly, I've had logos I've been asked to do. I've had the opposite, where people have gone, can you make sure it doesn't look anything like AI did it? And that's that I found really interesting, is they said, don't Google this. I had a client recently who did decals for boats and cars, and they said, don't go on Google and look up any other examples because it's just a load of AI crap. I don't want it to look anything like AI did it. You get really paranoid and go, God, how can I make sure?
A reaction against AI.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely reaction against.
Oh yeah, I think there's a when you see anything online that's got like a tell to you or a feel to you like that's AI, you kind of instantly devalue it a bit because it's like not effortless in the sense of classy, but effortless in the sense of nobody really tried very hard to make. I probably could have made this.
I devalue content if I think like
straight away.
If I start seeing content that's got the signs.
The worst one I've got is this beagle, like the dog, because I have a beagle, and he's a chef. And he just makes food with his thumbs, with his opposable thumbs. He will make a steak and move it around and put it on a grill, or he'll work in Subway and operate the till and with his thumbs slide a Subway sandwich into a microwave. And I'm like, what is this shit? Why is this arrived in front of my face?
This is the thing. I think there is a bit of a revolt against AI at the same time as it being embraced, despite the fact how amazing it can be if it is AI, but there's still so much it can't do that I can be hours trying to get. It's not very good still at logos, actually. If I'm trying to get something just to show someone as an example, there's so much of a human element that's still missing.
Well, that kind of rings true as well. Like, maybe you've seen this, Michael, but you ask ChatGPT to create a bit of code for you, and then you put it down and you look at it and you're like, that's not quite what I meant. I know that you're a smart machine, but that's not what I wanted. Just do it different.
And it becomes like after you've prompted it 6 or 7 times to get that thing, and then you're like, well, have I saved any time? Like I kind of knew what I wanted.
Yes.
And I asked you
because you're supposed to be faster.
Like you're like, there we go, I've done it. And you're like, that's not quite right. And they're like, you're absolutely right, Mark. Yeah. It's not right.
Well, yeah,
and
no shit.
I could have done it by now. Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly.
Slightly different topic. What are your thoughts on redundancies? Because there's been some redundancies.
Tech giants.
I mean, no one's immune, right? So certainly you see things like Microsoft. I mean, the kind of thing that I'm reading is, Microsoft, Meta are making cuts here and there. And then people will ask, well, why didn't Apple make any cuts? I'm like, they didn't hire as much during COVID, and everybody expanded far too much during COVID, and now they're basically cutting back to appropriate size. Anyway, thinking about illustration and design, I've kind of thought that maybe it might come up to 3 things. Do you think that cuts in this area would be just corporations seeking higher profit margins, genuinely bad economic conditions, or just a lack of perceived need for illustrators and designers? Why do you think like cuts happen in the design area?
Personally, I think it's the latter. I think it's the last one. I think it's an underestimation of what is needed to be a creative. And I think, my experience is that a lot of seniors get let go in favor for bringing in juniors who obviously cost less. But people don't expect there to be a drop in the quality of the work that then comes in. And of course there's going to be, because we all started off as juniors and we all know we weren't as good back then. We've learned what you pay for is people's experience. Even though a job might take someone 5 minutes, they worked for 20 years so that it did take them 5 minutes. I do think that if your creativity is grossly underestimated ability, I think it might still be the top TED Talk. It's talked about as possibly the greatest gift that anybody can have. That's an extraordinarily hard thing to do. And why it's not up there with sort of maths and academia is still puzzling some people, and myself included. I've got 2 daughters. One is an academic, one is a creative. The academic one gets celebrated massively over the creative one. Creativity is way down the list of the school's list of what makes you a great student. It's way down at the bottom. But actually, it's something that you just... It's hard to find. And I do think that the redundancies are a result of people just not understanding what these creators are bringing to the table. And it's something that they'll just learn. They'll let these people go. They'll outsource or they'll bring in juniors. And then they do seem confused about why the quality of the work goes down. It seems to be a vicious circle. It seems to be that a lot of creatives get let go and then a lot get brought in to try and compensate. And then more get let go again. And it seems to be a little bit of a crazy cycle at the minute.
How do you think the field of illustration and graphic design might be different in the coming years?
But this is what we talk about a lot at work, is that you've got to embrace AI. So every creative has now got to become someone who's proficient in prompting. And it sounds ridiculous, but there are people who I work alongside who are amazingly good at prompting, because the stuff that they can get out of AI is so much better than the stuff I can get out of AI. And I see myself as not bad at it, actually. So I think it is an art in itself, and it's got to be embraced, because you've just got to move with the industry. And now people are looking for people who can use AI proficiently. So I think that's going to be something that definitely comes into it.
I think the prompting thing is spot on, because totally different use case. I'm asking it to give me some code rather than any kind of image. But I've certainly had people say, this is kind of useless. I have the opposite effect on this. So my prompting has changed a lot. When I write a prompt now, it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs. I give it as much possible detail as I want, and I kind of work out what I don't want as well. So I don't do this. This is what I want, and I expect it to work in this. And I'll reiterate the same thing several times. And it largely does a great job. But I've seen a lot of people say this is rubbish. And it's kind of the way that they just kind of bad at explaining that, right?
Definitely. And it's all about the details, the references. You've got to throw in a lot of references. This is why, it's still good to be creative. You can put in a lot of your own sketches as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually. You can do a sketch of the kind of composition you want, and then it'll translate that. But no, I think it's sort of like a language of its own, a little bit like code.
Why didn't I think about that? Why didn't I just give it some of the code that I like? This is the style that I like it in. Do it like this from now on. It's genius.
Was the decision to get into the prop stuff you do is a physical thing, right?
Yes.
Like, was that maybe subconsciously driven by, you can't take that away? Here's a physical thing that you can't...
I don't even think it was subconscious. I think it was completely conscious. Yeah, in a world of AI, you can't cheat this. I've made a physical newspaper here, and you can't, it completely. Every artist starts off as a kid with pencil and paper. We've all been pulled into the digital world because it's so easy. It's instantly distributed to thousands of players or viewers or whatever, I think it just feels a bit like going back to analog. There's something so appealing about analog now. Analog cameras, analog watches, everything becomes more appealing, I think, when it's sort of endangered a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's what's fascinating I found about going into props is you learn about how people made things 50 years, 100 years ago. And I've been to sort of visit people who work letterpresses and things like that. And these letters that people made newspapers out of were carved by hand, If you had to make a font, you had to do it by carving it out of wood. And not even that long ago, up until the 70s, some newspapers were still printed by letterpress. That's incredible, I think, that people could, it's almost like people back then had more skill than we could, because they could carve wood in a straighter line than I can draw it by hand. It's amazing.
Okay. Do you think that the changing times of AI and how your role is potentially changing, does it make you want to pursue freelance work more? If your job's perceived as
disposable,
vulnerable,
yeah, potentially vulnerable, does it make you want to pursue freelance work more as a more of a safety net?
I play this game in my head every day. Do I want to go back to freelance? There's things about freelance that I really don't like too. So there is just, as we all know, something so incredibly secure about a paycheck coming in on a particular day of the month. And I think you inevitably get paid more, because even if there's nothing to do at work, if you show up, you're getting paid. If there's nothing to do on the freelance front, you're not seeing any income that month. You can get dry spells, especially in recessions and things. It's scary. It's what I do love about freelance. Getting to choose your own hours and choose when you go on holiday and all those things. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Is it easy to turn up the quantity of freelance work? Could you easily do that, or is that difficult?
If I can, when I shut down freelance a little bit to be in a salary role, I had to shut down lots of clients. I'm hoping that sort of thing could be reversed. You just have to be really bold, don't you, and ask. And it's amazing when you go out and say, just on the off chance, is there anything you need? The number of people who say yes. I toy with the idea on a daily basis.
So something we haven't quite touched upon, because we've kind of jumped from one end of the scale to the complete opposite of salaried work to freelance. Does contracting exist for designers, like 3-month, 6-month contract?
It's sort of project driven, isn't it? So I suppose, people say, we'll need you for this project. Never assigned enough time to it. So people say, we want you to make something that really should take 3 weeks in 3 days. It's always the way.
I think that's us for changing times of AI. Shall we get on to some news and then recommendations? The only thing I've got for news, which is maybe we probably should have been more prepared for this. The Online Safety Act a couple of weeks ago, I got a bill from Apple for £47. I was like, what is this? So I went to my girlfriend and said, did you buy something? Did you sign up to something in the last week for a subscription that you didn't tell me about? No. I'm going around the whole Apple family. Eventually I get to the younger brother. Did you buy anything? Yeah, what'd you buy? VPN.
Oh, okay.
The Online Safety Act has come in, which means you have to be 18. You have to verify your age in some way, shape, or form. I think it's come with much criticism, potential misunderstanding for VPNs.
And a lot of extra subscription requests.
I am sure that NordVPN are doing well this last month. Yeah, thoughts?
Guys, explain to me how it actually works, the whole VPN thing, because I hear people going, oh, this is only available on Netflix in the US, but just change your VPN. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
I'm in a great position to do this because I did this on my last holiday. I was on holiday in Greece and I was annoyed because I couldn't watch Mobland, which is great.
Right.
And I couldn't watch what I wanted to do. Here's how it works. I create a computer virtually in the world that Google hosts for me, but I say, put it in London for me, please. And effectively, I create a special tunnel between that computer and my iPad so that every time I want to make a request to the normal internet, it goes via that London server, first of all. So everything I do on the internet goes via that special tunnel to London.
Right.
And then to wherever it was going. So it looks like anybody else on the internet, I'm in London.
Right.
Even though I'm in Greece. That's the gist of it. It's a virtual private network. So it's like two things tied together. A private network would be like, it's just all of the stuff on our private network. But a virtual private network is across the internet. So the gist of it is you get this virtual private network that is just between you and something else. And this other server that I paid for in London, all my traffic goes through it. So it looks like everything I'm doing is from London. But when people talk about a VPN, they're really talking about a public VPN. So basically just like doing that, but the thing I've just described is
done by someone else.
It took me like 3 hours to do it. So,
wow.
And I'm an infrastructure engineer, so
You really wanted to watch that show.
Yeah, not so much that I really wanted. I had never done it before, and I thought, you know what, I've got all of these skills. I should be able to do this. I've done bits of this before. Can't be that hard. And
whereas I would just go, I can't do this. I'm not trying.
Yeah, but the idea of NordVPN is that you just pay them, and it says connect to the VPN, and you're done, and it's easy peasy. Where do you want your traffic to come from? And you'll say, I want it to come from the US, or I want it to come from the Netherlands, or I want it to come from London, or Ireland, or anywhere, or Australia. And it'll send all of your traffic through that country.
And you open up Netflix, and then Netflix is like, Where's that traffic coming from? Mark's in the
Right.
US. Let me present the US screen of Netflix. And then you get all the different stuff.
So this is sort of thing's really important to Netflix because they'll only have content rights to show certain content in the US, or content rights for, say they rent a show from Channel 4. They can only show that show in the UK. So if you're somewhere else, then they're not allowed to show it. So they kind of need to know where you are to comply with their legal restrictions.
Right.
So they'll just say, well, just route all my traffic elsewhere. But not everybody has the technical skills to set up their own VPN, so they just pay for a VPN now and say, hey, NordVPN, we're in Amsterdam.
Right.
The Online Safety Act, I'm not sure if it has been well implemented or not.
I can't say in fact personally. No, actually, no. Having said that, I was having a conversation with my 11-year-old daughter today because they were watching Friends. And in Friends, somebody references pornography. And my 11-year-old daughter says to me, what's pornography? And I said, well, actually, you go against the average stat that I read the other day, because I read that now that all these kids have their smartphones, the average 10-year-old will be shown some kind of hardcore pornography.
I was going to say 11 is a bit late, isn't it? Well, no, it's not a bit late, but for the statistics. Yeah.
For the statistics. So that's why I was saying to her, you're actually in this question of what pornography is. So I gave her the sort of my explanation of, she knows what sex is. She knows. I said, it's kind of like, it's adults doing a performance of it, because some adults want to watch that. And I said, the danger in you stumbling across that is you just might not be ready for that, and you might see something that really scares you. I think it is a good job. But in terms of, scared the hell out of me that they said the average 10-year-old will see something hardcore because their friends will bring in their phone and show them at school. So I think there is something at the minute that there is, and there's such pressure. As soon as they go to high school, there's this, can I have a phone? Can I have a phone? Where can I have a phone? All their friends have got them. All these other parents are just obviously don't give a shit. So they're all, all their friends are getting phones.
Michael's kids are in a special pact with their school, right?
There's a thing you can sign up to, which is like a
no phones.
Yeah, like a no phone thing, and more parents sign up to it, the more it normalizes
I've heard of this, but it does make me think. They've got this little thing in the palm of their hand. They've got access to everything in the world. Instantly going down the adolescence path here. But something in me says we've got to be moderating this somehow a little bit so that not just anyone can just, beyond parent controls, can just go and see anything. So the parent side of me says, good, then I can imagine all my friends who are in their 30s and 40s finding it a massive pain in the arse as well. I don't know.
But it's you're I don't call your brother out of life on a podcast, but he's over 18, right? It's more of a privacy thing. It's not he's not trying to get around an age limit. He's just trying to block his traffic from...
Presumably so.
Yeah, because it's like I have a VPN, and it's whenever I'm on a public Wi-Fi network, my phone will switch me on the VPN to protect my traffic.
Wow.
Like it's not like there's a lot of uses other than...
The closest I've got to that is Apple's built-in iCloud hide my IP thing. But paying another big public company for a VPN...
When you can do it for cheap.
Yes, you can technically do it yourself cheaper. But also, do you know anything about that company?
Yeah, true.
Like, that you're trying to hide your IP address from? Yeah. Are they going to be good companies? Is that VPN provider now going to know every website you go to when you go to them, and are they going to resell your data in some way, shape, or form?
True.
That's a bit like, I don't know, I don't trust them any more than the next person. So that's why I don't normally tend to go VPNs, unless work stuff anyway. Yeah, that's the end of the news because we didn't get our act together. Next, recommendations. Fun stuff. What are you listening to? Music, podcast, audiobooks, TV. You can recommend anything at all.
Oh, wow.
I'll go first to give you a flavour of this. It's been a while since... I feel like I've forgotten a month's worth of recommendations, but I'll try my best. I got a new book, which I've misspelled, The Psychology of Money. There's lots of little stories about money and how people have treated it differently, and it's been hugely interesting. Really, really enjoying it. Definitely worth a read. I'll pick out some...
Where did that come from?
Spotted it on a shelf in the window of foils and said... I was in a real rush because I walked in and the guy said, just so you know, we're closing. Now I want to go home. Yeah, great choice. Yeah, glad he pressured me. And I bought one other because he's rushed me. I don't have time to choose another book quickly. So I just chose one that I knew was on a bestseller. I was like, I'll go with this. So I'll report back on that once I started. But yeah, I went to Truck Festival, seen loads of bands. One was called Tongue, where this man sings about the most tedious of stuff. My favourite song was called Dyson Airblade, where he sings about going into a service station bathroom and having wet hands, and the best machine for the job is the Dyson Airblade. So yeah, that was pretty great. I'll put some tongue in there, so to speak. And I've been watching Here We Go, which has an all-star cast from combination of Peep Show, Afterlife, the IT Crowd, and Gavin and Stacey.
Really?
That sounds good. Who from the IT crowd? I'm interested.
Jen.
Oh, cool.
Jen from the IT Crowd. Gerald from Peep Show.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy's name, but he's the newspaper editor guy from Afterlife.
Oh.
And,
okay, yeah.
Three Sticks Pam from Gavin and Stacey. Pretty great. It's kind of shot slightly in the style of Peep Show, but it's a good watch. Yeah. What have you got, Michael?
I kept my Audible subscription, and I'm listening to it's Irvin Welsh, Men in Love. So it's the follow-up from directly after Trainspotting.
Oh, wow.
So because there's a sequel, which is the film's called T2, but there's a gap.
Yeah.
So this is like kind of in the gap. So it's like Trainspotting's just ended, and it's all of the characters what they're doing. It's good. The person who's narrating it has got all these like really different voices to do the different characters and stuff. Yeah, so that's been good. Typical like Irvin Welsh kind of stuff. And my dad was like, "Oh, would I enjoy it?" I don't know. like definitely feel like a bit awkward, but I haven't watched that much. I've been trying to do this Go stuff, trying to like commit to it. We got a Now TV deal, and I watched Joker, the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No?
I mean, the first one was pretty.
First one I
pretty
really
good.
liked. The
It
second
certainly
one's.
had a statement to it.
I think people. It's the one where it's kind of a musical. People were really like mixed up. People didn't know how to.
A musical?
People didn't know how to react to it. It's got
No.
Lady Gaga. Yeah, and it's like a lot of the scenes just break into a musical number. And I think people were just. I think people were just like, I'm not sure about this. I think it's still worth a watch. I think because it's like at least the person who's done it has tried something really different, and I think that's commendable. Going back to the creativity thing, right? But then I don't know if it lands. Some people really like it. It's one of those Marmite things.
Yeah, I wanted to ask your TED Talk on creativity.
Mm.
What was that?
Gosh,
I want to find that one.
It was about 5 years ago. Just Googling quick. It was the #1 TED Talk at the time, the most watched. Listened
But
to.
what's the gist?
Was basically that it's just an under-celebrated gift. Okay, so I think it's Sir Ken Robinson, Do Schools Kill Creativity?
Is this the one about when he asks his kid to draw a house, and they ask, what kind of house? Is it a spooky house? They draw all kinds of weird stuff, and then eventually they go to school and come back, and he asks them to draw a house, and they just draw
just a box and a triangle.
With the little square windows, and it looks like every other house.
This was delivered in 2006. That's how old it is, but it's still, according to AI, the #1 TED Talk of all time. And I found it amazing. Well, it's because it's bigging me up as a creative. Yes, someone on our side.
Anything else to recommend?
I was a bit late to the party finishing watching Severance, season 2. Did you watch it?
I did. I really had a bit of a dip in the middle again. This happened to me the first season. I watched like 2 episodes, and I was like, this is kind of weird and a little bit long and drawn out. And somebody said, no, you should continue with that. And I was like, all right, okay, I'll give it a go. And it was great. And then season 2 was kind of similar, like episodes 5 and 7. I was like,
oh, it just went nowhere.
Why am I still watching this?
It went nowhere, and then it came back last minute.
Yeah.
I ended up sort of on a bit of a rabbit hole on how they made it. There's so much done in post. The majority of him running down corridors is, for example, on a treadmill. And they've put the corridors rushing past him. He's just on a treadmill. I was listening to Ben Stiller talk about it because there is a Severance podcast as well. Most of the winters thawed before they were done filming. So they had all the snow and everything is all put in post as well.
It's weird because I heard that's like by far and away one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, which people always say it's a bit weird. Apparently it's much, much more expensive than Game of Thrones.
What?
Really? Because it
the
seems really like
Bastard
bland,
was like $10 million or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the average cost for one of these episodes is extortionately high. Severance cost $20 million per episode, which is just per episode $20 million. Which I thought it was insane. The one thing I heard about it was, you know, the scene where they go into a room and the room's quite big, like a warehouse size, and it's a hill with goats on it.
Yes.
We meet the weird goat people. Apparently, they liked the hill and built the room around a real hill. That's just stupid. Yeah, wow, great. It's technically very interesting, and it was a great bit of hill. What a waste of money. There's got to be an easier way to do that. Got to be an easier way.
Mike, were you saying you've been watching Untamed?
I watched Untamed. It was just, it was kind of, plot was right. Just seeing Yosemite, like the shots and stuff.
Yeah.
Just amazing, like massive, like panoramic El Capitan and all this sort of big side. I thought it was really cool.
I may have been distracted by Eric Bana, but I'm sure the background was also very nice.
I got one other one. I got a new gadget, a nano leaf light strip. Check it out.
But you put it on now.
I can't really show yet because you're facing away. but it's a little LED strip of lights that goes all the way around my desk.
Wow.
Makes it kind of glow purple, and it's kind of cool. Big fan. There's loads of different themes. I was thinking about getting one of these for a while, and I've finally done it, and yeah.
You happy?
No regrets. Adelaide, you've been absolutely wonderful. I've really, really enjoyed it. So thank you ever so much.
Oh, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's been great. We're thinking of getting together for our
20th
episode at some point. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. Yeah, eventually. But yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. Thank you ever so much. It's been awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Adelaide.
guys.
Cheers. And we're done. That was
Back in
great.
the saddle.
Very much so.
No, it's so weird, isn't it? I was nervous at the start. I've known
you followed
you
it,
for
the motions.
decades, Adelaide for decades, but still a bit like,
Oh, I don't know how to talk to
I was on the train this morning thinking like, I know nothing about design.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the
Nothing,
same thing
like,
because
and I was like, what do I don't. But it's cool. It's really, really interesting. I think actually more interesting in design was the freelance element.
yeah,
So much of that is your personality in dealing with clients.
yeah.
Forgetting the actual like work you do, obviously that's important, but like the business side of it.
Because there's not much freelance work in platform engineering, really, is there? It's
Really,
few and far
it's
between.
like, what would you do? Like, we need a base image. We're gonna pay you by the hour.
I'm a platform engineer, you know. I was like, oh, really? Because I need a Docker image.
Yeah,
for...
my mate needs a pipeline. It'll only take 5 minutes.
It's going to take more than 5 minutes to make a pipeline of that complexity, my friend.
But the business side is... I was surprised you didn't charge for mood boards. It's
it's part of your time and effort.
I spend
right?
a few days and I don't charge. Like,
yeah, no, when I've done some freelance work lately, to me, it's just work. I just do it at a different time of the day. But yeah, it was for a friend. There was some elements of it that were eventually going to need a design. And I said, don't get me to design it. It'll look rubbish. Get the designer. But then everything else is kind of true. You're doing it for a friend, so you don't want to rip them off. But at the same time, you don't want to do it unless it's worth at least a certain amount of value to you, because it's not your thing. You want it to be good, and you want them to get a good experience, and you don't want them to be wildly overcharged.
You've got mortgage and family and
it's the time element of it, right? Because because if you've got a full-time job, you've got to go and do it outside of work. It's a huge time element to that where you're thinking, God, I'd rather not be doing this. And it really is, compared to your contract day rate, it's buttons. So I'm like, this is going to take ages to do exactly what he wants.
It's interesting here about prompting in design as well. Like, I have no idea what Photoshop's doing these days. It's quite cool to...
The thing I find most fascinating was they put in their own work and say, well, here's what I've got so far. I've drawn these 5 things, and you just give it a digital image or even a picture of a sketch and say, this is what I'm thinking. Can you give me
this is my style.
Something more refined that I can then take out of ChatGPT, put it in Photoshop, and then AI it a bit more in Photoshop, and then put your own final personal touches on it to get it just right. Yeah. Sounds like a great workflow.
Do you feel like a creative?
No, I feel like I've got a mission and I know what good will look like. And it's what my interactions with ChatGPT are just, how do I find the fastest way to get it to be the right quality of it? Because so much of the work I'm doing in my personal thing at the minute is just make this API do exactly this.
Transaction.
So very much. So like, I know what right is and I know what wrong is. And if it's my code and I care, I'm a horrible perfectionist. Like the indenting on the SQL has got to be correct. It's got to be, all the investment goes into how do you go as fast as possible. So the interactions with ChatGPT get me as close as possible to a start point, and then I will do all of my crafting on top of it. And it'll be great and neat and tidy, but I'm the only person going to see that tidiness. But it has to be great and neat and tidy so that I can go fast, because otherwise this will take my entire life. Now, the prompting thing was really interesting as well. So yeah, loads of interesting stuff. Just a lot of stuff about design that you don't think about. Like, so many times when you're doing a bit of work, if you have to do the user interface, you just say to the designer, tell me what you want it to look like. I mean, I can make it look exactly like how you want it to look, but I can't come up with a thing that looks good on my own.
It's funny when you said you have this view in your head. I'm the same. I'm like, oh, it's great. And then I sit down and do it. And I'm like, I can't translate.
You run out of patience and you're just like, oh, that'll do.
I guess that's the difference that someone like that can, what they see in their head, they can put it down. Whereas I'm like, nothing ever turns out like I want it.
Maybe my CSS is just slightly rusty, but I think more likely is I'm just a bit impatient and I'm like, the CSS bits that make it really shine and nice and delightful, like, that's a polished bit. We can do that later.
It's a different job, isn't it, really?
It's a very different job.
Yeah. If you want to find out more about the show or see our show notes, go to www.Ctrl-Alt-Expletive.com or subscribe to our new newsletter where you get a weekly update from us with links directly to our news and recommendations. There's a link for the newsletter in the show notes. You can follow us on Instagram, Reddit, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Blue Sky, where we post trailers and exclusive content.
That's it. Thank you.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.